Welcome to the Beth Couture Show. I'm your host, Becca Bornhorst. The Bulldogs are in the thick of conference play right now with just 4 games remaining before the Atlantic 10 tournament in Philadelphia. This week, the Bulldogs will travel to St. Louis on Wednesday and they will host Richmond at home on Saturday afternoon. After the break, we will be joined with head coach Beth Couture. You're watching the Beth Couture Show on ButlerSports.com. Welcome back to the Beth Couture Show. Thanks for joining me again, Coach.
Good to see you, Becca.
Yeah, so great win yesterday against St. Bonaventure. It was a little bit of a slow first half, but you fought back and were able to win 64-46. So talk about what happened in that second half.
Yeah, I thought in the first half, we started off the first 5 minutes really good, and then we kind of got stale offensively. I thought that we weren't executing what we wanted to do. We weren't making sharp cuts, and we just couldn't put it in the hole. Sometimes we had wide open looks and we couldn't score. So I felt like defense was good, except for we let 12 have 4 really good looks at the 3, and we knew she was a 3-point shooter. But I just felt like we needed to have more energy, and at halftime we talked about it, and I thought the kids really responded.
And in this win, you out-rebounded St. Bonaventure, and you were able to shoot really well. So talk about how that makes a difference in your play.
Well, rebounding has been big for us all year. We've been up and down in that category and more down than up. And so I just really felt like it was a game that we could out-rebound them. So I challenged us to do that, and our kids stepped up and did that. And we out-rebounded by 7, I believe. And it was just a good day for us. And then shooting, yeah, I mean, we feel like we can really shoot it, and here lately we've been struggling. And for us to go 10 for 20 from the 3 in a second, and for the game, it was just great. And I think when we can hit threes, it opens up inside. Because right now, Darius and Liz Stratman and Amanda Raker and them, they're gonna draw doubles because everybody knows we pound it in. So it was nice to see it loosen up a little bit with the threes going in.
And it was also Breast Cancer Awareness Day, a special day for you as a breast cancer survivor. So talk about how important that was, and to see fans there in pink. Yeah,
it was awesome, to see all the people there and have such a crowd like that and be able to honor a couple people. But, at the end of the day, Becca, for me, it's almost like that game, sometimes there's a lot of pressure on us. So I try not to say too much about it prior to. But it is a game that's bigger than us. It's a game that makes you think. Almost everybody in some way or another has been touched by cancer. So I think everybody can reflect on that and just put everything on the floor and leave it there for that game. But I was really proud of our kids and their effort and just how they prepared for this game.
Now talk a little bit about, you had a couple tough losses before the St. Bonaventure game at Charlotte and at George Washington, both on the road. So talk about both of those games.
Mm-hmm. Well, I thought the George Washington game, you got to give them a lot of credit. I thought they played very good, and probably one of the best games I've seen them play. And we were playing really pretty good in the first half, and in the second half they just were hitting shots, and we couldn't. And then our defense got a little stale. We weren't as aggressive. We weren't pressuring the ball. So, it was a tough loss, but it's a good team. They're senior oriented. You can tell that they've turned it up here at the end of the year to try to, it's their last run. And when you have 4 or 5 seniors and it's their last run, that's what happens. And then the Charlotte game, I felt like we really executed our game plan to the T, and really was leading most of the game. And at the end there, we just could not buy a bucket. We couldn't get it in. We had some great looks from the outside. We had some great looks from the inside, but we did not execute down the stretch offensively. But I feel like knowing that that team's in second, only has 1 loss, and we're that close, I think it'll help us come tournament time.
Definitely. And after the George Washington game, your team was able to sightsee a little bit. You went to the White House. So how fun was that?
It was great because I've never been. I've never been to Washington. I've never seen the White House, and I know a lot of the kids were the same way, or some of them seen it way back when they were little. But I thought it was awesome, and it's good to get a team together after a loss like that and be able to do something and walk around. And it was kind of cold, but we had a good time. And Jacob and the bus driver had our route that we could walk, and it's just neat to see all that. They were taking down things from the inauguration, so we got to see what was happening there in the stages. But I think the girls really enjoyed it, and I think that's what's special about the A10. We do get to go to different cities.
Definitely. So that is what's been happening, and after the break, we will take a look ahead. You're watching the Beth Couture Show on ButlerSports.com. Welcome back to the Beth Couture Show. So Coach, looking ahead to this week, you will travel to St. Louis. Now this is a team that you've played before joining the Atlantic 10, so you know a little bit about their program. Can you talk about what they do?
Yeah, well, it's a new coach now, but she was at Wisconsin when we went to the WNIT a couple of years ago. They're very guard-oriented, you know. They shoot the ball well. They can pull up on a dime and shoot it. Their guards can go, and then they get a physical post inside. So, you know, it's going to be fun for us, but a tough matchup in some areas. So I know they'll be excited. It's a noon game. They're bringing in schools, so there'll probably be a couple thousand crazy kids in there screaming and hollering. So we're going to have to keep our focus. But at the end of the day, you know, it's a big game for us too, because right now we control our destiny as we finish and come to the end of this Atlantic 10 conference season. So we need to be ready to play. I think they're a team that they will struggle a little bit with our transition, and we're going to have to get the ball inside. But, you know, they're up and coming, and they're doing really well. The new coach has done a great job with them.
Right, and you'll actually travel by bus on Wednesday, which will be a little bit different. Your team has been traveling a lot lately, and mostly by plane, so will it be nice to get back on the bus for one trip?
Yeah, I think it will. I think it'll be good to get us all together and spend some time together. And we're going to try to stream the men's game, the guys up, and get it up so you guys can watch. But I think it will. I'm looking forward to it. Get a little bit of rest, driving there, and then get an early game and get us back so we can get back and study some and get to class the next day. So I'm excited about the trip. I think it'll be a good trip for us.
And then pretty quick turnaround. You play Saturday instead of Sunday this weekend, and you host Richmond, and that's the next home games. Do you know anything about Richmond?
Yeah, the thing that with all the teams right now, everybody is fighting for some positioning in the tournament. Mm-hmm. And right now, Richmond's fighting to get into the tournament. So I think they're going to come in and play hard. They execute. They're well coached. They can shoot it a little bit that I've seen. So, I mean, it's going to be, you're right, a quick preparation. So we're going to have to be focused in practice after we play St. Louis and be ready to go again because it's going to come up pretty quickly.
Well, great, Coach. That's all I have for you. Thanks again for joining me.
Thanks, Becca.
And thanks for joining us here on the Beth Couture Show. We will be back next week on February 25th.